All right, here we go. You ready?
I'm always ready.
Oh shit, here we go.
Always ready.
Already. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Across the Table, where the drinks are cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations are fire. Sitting across the table from me, I've known this man since first Fast Best Foot Action USA Southwick.
Yes.
My man, 50 grand, one half of RevelHeir.
Yeah.
Is that RevelHeir?
Yeah.
RevelHeir Clothing.
Yeah.
This is my man, 50 grand Marcel. How are you, sir?
Good. Good. I'm good. Man. Introduction.
Come on, man.
It's almost like drink champions. It's almost a drink champions.
I gotta put you on.
I feel that. Nah. It's that, as Nori say, give you your roses while you're here. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna give you yours, eye to eye. We'll toast it up.
Here's to you.
There you go. So let's go. I see what this is. This gets me let's go get me lick it up so I can start talking. That's what it is. What we doing?
Now, I start off every show by asking this one question.
Word.
How are you? Like, how is Marcel? Like, not Marcel the husband, not Marcel the clothing entrepreneur. How are you, bro?
No, I'm great. No, I'm good. No, I appreciate that. I think that's a question that, as men, as black men, I hate to throw that, but as men, period, but as black men, we don't ask one another that. And if we do, it's the cliche answer of, oh no, I'm good. Everything good. Right? Because in your mind, you think, well, nobody really cares. Right? But I appreciate that. Life is grand. Right? So we'll talk deep as we get into this thing. But I kind of operate on a different frequency when it comes to my mental well-being, mental state. And it's a challenge, right? It's a challenge, and we all go through the peaks and the valleys, but it's I think it's my purpose of why I'm here, I think, is what keeps the mind sharp. So, which is why I'm here. It's partly why I'm here.
And I appreciate you being here.
Word.
It's my man, 50 grand right here.
Appreciate you having me.
Now, you and Micah, get in touch with me because you next. Y'all decided to hop into the clothing game.
Right.
What made y'all? You've always had flavor, like you've always had a sense of style. What made you make that jump to let me just get my own clothing brand out there?
In part, he did. Right. So in part, he did. So you got to think, man, out the door days, we were doing something, I think, that was ahead of its time. So when I first, so obviously being from Cleveland and coming here for school, meeting you at Foot Action, and then transitioning, obviously it was the Gap, then Foot Action, then transitioning into Out the Door and that whole launch, right?
Because that was back when Micah was working at, wasn't it the Guest store?
He was at, no, that's even further back. He was at Kids Foot Locker and Ladies Foot Locker.
I remember. Okay,
So
you're right.
That's how far back that go. So I was just talking to one of my young boys, Nick, who went to BG, who's from Cleveland, and we were on the phone talking this past week, and he was like, "Cuzzo," he was like, "Man, you guys at Out the Door, if you think about it, was doing something that at the time is really what your Jimmy Jazz and all these other things are doing right now. Obviously, now Mike and I have transitioned into a different phase from big box to more boutique. But at that time and Out the Door, I mean, from Persuco to Aniche to Fat Farm. And when I first came to Toledo, I mean, you guys had, I think, New York Collection. The New York Collection wasn't popping like that.
We had New York Collection and we had Diamonds.
Diamonds, right. But Diamonds was at Southwick at the time, and it was more like your men's store, like suits and things like that. But as far as urban fashion went, I don't think it was popping until we kicked the door down. Like, I'm talking to be able to provide real quality, real merch. As far as I'm talking COD, I'm talking like invoices. I'm talking we're not getting the fake stuff. We're not getting. I'm talking hand delivered from manufacturer to have a Nietzsche and Fetish and the J-Lo line and all those brands that were popping. You talking late 90s going into the early 2000s. I mean, we was doing BG fashion shows and UT fashion shows. And I think we kind of set the tone for that. I mean, to be able to leave Southwick, go to Franklin Park, I think, and that's kind of what was the start of it. Obviously, my fashion flair came obviously before Out the Door, but to the original question, Micah is what pulled me back in because he had RevelHeir, sitting on the shelf for like, he had it for a while. He had this thing, he had his vision already ready, right? And then the opportunity came in for me to partner with him. And so he kind of pulled me back in. And so now here we are in this whole fashion thing, right? Or as Jay-Z and Pusha T says, now we here, right? So that's where we at. And I think where I come in is, it's the Shaq and Penny. It's not even the Shaq and Kobe, right? We Shaq and Penny on this thing. So here you go. Mike has got the idea to do this thing, but how does this thing happen? And then here comes Penny, which is myself, that's able to throw him the lobs and say, hey, let's let the vision run now. So here we go. And so it was just the perfect maturation, man. Perfect marriage.
Sounds like the best genesis
word
to start something.
That's what we're doing. We throw Genesis in there.
It's the beginning.
The beginning.
It's the beginning.
You talk that book, man. I know it.
Oh shoot. Oh.
Go ahead.
Well, how was the transition? Because I remember you were at Verizon for a while, and I remember we were talking over at Emory's, and you were saying that Verizon was basically offering you the bag, and you were like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
What prompted you to make that decision, and how do you transition from being a salaried employee to what you're doing right now as far as entrepreneurship?
Vision. So it was the easiest thing was it was the I think here's what's crazy. I gotta give you the story. So I had my resignation letter typed up in 2019, and this is before the birth of our partnership. So I knew that my purpose was greater than what I was doing. Now, from a bag perspective, I was, GM, moved to a business account exec level, role, and the money was good, and the offer was good to stay. But prior to that, I had a conversation with my cousin who came from Cleveland, and I was talking to him about the proverbial carrot, or proverbial. It's proverbial or proverbial, either one. We'll call it proverbial because it's the proverbial carrot that corporate America dangles, where it's 401k, 6-figure income, paid college tuition, the benefits. It's all these things to keep you kind of where you're at, right? At bay. And I don't care what amount of level I climb to be a boss, I still have someone that I have to answer to. So a couple things that happened. Pops passed in 2017. Needed to take mom to Virginia that same year. Tennessee, to be with her sister for Thanksgiving. My store is one of the best stores, right? We're rolling. I'm clicking on all cylinders. I asked my DM at the time, I need to, and this is during blackout period, meaning you're talking retail.
Yep. Between the day after Thanksgiving and the 1st, you can't take no time
blackout
off.
Time. Yep. But I needed to do this. So he denied me, told me no. And at that time I asked God, I said, you know what, man? I said, see it in your power that I never have to ask another person for vacation time or anything like that. So then I got offered wasn't even looking for it. and they came knocking at my door and they offered me the account manager position, or BAE, business account exec position. So I took that, and first year that I had freedom, where I was able to, I had weekends off. I was off by 5, no later than 6. Got a lot of family time back, and the bag was extensive, so the bag was good. And then I was back to having a large territory, just selling and doing my own thing, without the GM aspect of managing 20 to 25 people, right? Trying to get a group of people to move one direction. So that happened. And then the opportunity came. Mike and I, we go to Vegas. This is 2020, January. And
this is pre-pandemic or post?
This is before.
Yeah,
this is pre.
This is pre.
So, in which I got a funny story about that. So we're in Vegas, we're talking, and then the marriage happens of RevelHeir Partnership, right? Now, remind you, 2019, I had my resignation letter written. I'm already sitting in a phenomenal position in corporate, but there's still something missing. And it was the next question of, or the next ask of God was, allow me not only financial freedom, but, flexibility again. Right. So
I've noticed something.
Yeah.
You're very specific about what you asked for. At first, it was, don't ever put me in this position again. And then it was, okay, now that you've done this, can you do this for me? And it's really specific.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people put out a broad prayer and think that it's just going to happen, when even in the book, it says you have to be very precise with your words.
Word.
So I just wanted to point that out, but keep cooking.
So, because there's
we'll grab some water.
Go ahead. Yeah, there's two people that I actually, when I'm going to make a move, I ask, right? I get permission or confirmation or anything like that. Thank you. It's not two people, but one person, one entity. So God and my wife, right? Those are the two nucleus that actually will help me move and navigate to the next venture, right? So anyway, we're in Vegas. Partnership happens. We talk about the details, and for me, I'm like the marketer. I'm the in your face. I'm the,
and you've always been good at that.
Dame Dash. I'm the, let's go. If a door closes, we go. Can we cuss? All right. The door closes.
We passed the 2-minute mark, okay. So it's all go.
Yeah, if door closes, we kicking that bitch open. Like I don't believe in stopping. Which is my gift and my curse, especially when you have a partner, right? Because there is a such thing as a gas pedal and there's such thing as a brake or slow down, right? In business when you have a partner. But that was for me the opportunity to say, all right, here it is. And here's the crazy thing. I talk about that carrot that they dangle so that way you don't realize your worth, to keep you in corporate. They give you all the money, they give you all the sparkles and flair and all of this stuff, right? But when you start to bet on yourself, there's really not enough money they can give you, right? So, Big Boss drove from Twinsburg, Cleveland, 2 hours just to have a conversation with me. What does this look like? Why are you leaving? How do you stay? How do we get you to stay? And I had just got a raise. So here's the crazy thing. I got a raise the day that I gave my letter. So once again, you talk about how God works, and we talk about how there's another side of, right? I'm not gonna say that corporate is the devil, but you've got two sides though, right? I got God saying, hey, my son, go and do this way. You have the other existence that's saying, this looks good right here. We're giving you this, we're giving you that, we're giving you this, we're giving you that, and you still have a little bit of freedom. But what didn't sit well with me is the fact that I still got to go and knock on somebody else's door to be like, can I take my wife on vacation? Can my kids and I go to Disney or wherever they want to go? Can I take my mom out of town or go see my mom? Right. And that for me is like, it's it was going back to 17 when my pops passed, and I had to make that phone call to my boss at the time, like who I've known. Went through the ranks together, right? And I'm like, yo, you already know what we're doing. You already know my staff. You already know I got a well-oiled machine. I'm not even asking to be off Black Friday. I'm saying we're off Thursday. That's Thanksgiving. I want to let me take Wednesday as a day off. Shoot moms down there. We're there Thursday. I'll be back late Friday to even close up because we got late extended hours. That was it. And you said no, which means you couldn't even work with me, which means you don't even care about the person, the people. It's about, I don't need you to inconvenience me. And I was like, nah, can't do it again. Won't do it. So that was it. Now, as fortune has it.
That's a gutsy move, though.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have the self-esteem to bet on themselves.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you the most humbling experience though too is your wife says, "Yo, this phone bill is crazy. How do we get a discount?" And I go, "Let me make a call." And you go back to Verizon part-time. So the same people that used to work for you now get to see all the stuff that you used to tell them how to do. Now you do it in action. But you only there when you want to be there. You have a set schedule. And that's the feed. I don't even see that check. That's the feed bills and the cell phone bill, the discount. I don't even use their benefits. So how crazy is that? You talk about my wife always says, "How long you gonna keep milking that shit?" She goes, "How long you gonna keep milking it?" Right? Think about that, right? And you want to hear about the leverage. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, when I'm there, here's what's crazy. When I'm there, I perform, right? But also it's team commission. And so I don't strive to be number one. But when I do want to flip the switch and turn it on, it's like, oh my God, they be like, this guy. But it's team commission, so there's no need for me to everything that I used to teach them do. I can kind of listen, I'm just here to,
You like the old head in the back.
That's it. I am not here to shine. I already had the seat. I done had multiple seats. I don't want the seat. I even told him too. I said, "Clark, if I feel like you go push me back, to the seat or something, I'll walk away again. It's not, I'm here just to help the people and get a discount. Make a little extra money on the side. That's it."
At least, here's to being honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, and when you're honest, that gives you. Here's the crazy thing. Me and my wife, I talk about playing chess with her all the time, especially in business. But life is chess, and I tell her, and I'm teaching her how to play, because she's stepping into some different territories from going from nonprofit to for-profit, which is a different beast, and kind of in a retail realm a little bit. Even though she's HR, it's still kind of retail. And honesty is your best leverage. So you talk about, you ask me, how do I make the moves, or it's gutsy, or the beauty in playing chess or taking risks is I'll never take a risk without already having something set up. So it's always calculated. It's like, I tell my wife, which I tell you about some crazy moves I've done just in my personal life. But I tell my wife, I said, listen, it's like, she leases a vehicle. She get a new car probably every 2 years, right? So we keep her in a new fresh car. I say, listen, you can ride this thing 3 out. I mean, three out 3 years. It's 3 and out, right? When they come to you to say, hey, I want to get you out your car, blah, 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 whatever. If the numbers ain't right, we get up, we walk out, because you already got a car. You never make a move when you have to make a move. You make the move when you feel like, I can. Right? When I bought my house 6 years ago, it was a lady's first flip. And we didn't have to move. We're in the Maumee School District. My kids going to Maumee. We didn't have to move. And so I'm going to just play. Entertain the idea. Let's go look for a new house. Right? So I got my agent. Denise, if you're listening, she's the coldest. Which, by the way, I'm doing real estate. I'm jumping into that field too. That's the 3 silos. Well, that was also part of why I quit. It wasn't just RevelHeir. I can't eat off just that right now. It's that trying to get into real estate. I got to pass this damn national. And then there's Woods and Vines, which is my wife and I. That's our baby that we're trying to launch, which is a cigar winery. So, but I'm not gonna give too much on that. So that's gotta be, yeah. So all you go get on that. I'm not gonna give you the details. I can't give you much of what's happening. Just be on the lookout.
Just know it's coming.
Yeah, and Woods and Vines is already on my handle for IG because it'll say co-owner of RevelHeir and owner of Woods and Vines. So it's already not like it's not public knowledge. You can look it up and go, oh, he's got the LLC. He's working on something else. But anyway, so I stole my house, and this was 6 years ago. And I told Denise, so here's what's wild. I'm a wild, as my wife would say, honey, if you listen, I'm a wild boy. So we just planned. Denise shows us these houses. My wife has this one house that she really wanted to look at, and this was the house, right? The house you've been at. You came over for New Year's party. So we bought a house. But here's what happened. The lady had the house on the market for, man, she had on the market, I think, for maybe 160, 165. And I came in at 115, which is a total insult. But then the lady came down maybe $500, which I thought was an insult. So I called Denise, tell the lady to keep her house. Denise goes, what? You, like, for real? I said, yeah. I said, Denise, I'm not.
Like she thought she was bugging.
Nah, like I don't have to buy a house. Like, once again, I never make a move in desperate need. I just filling this thing out, right? I never make a move under pressure. The pressure's not on me. It's always on the opposition in which I'm making the move against, right? So 2 days later, I get a phone call. My phone rings. It's Denise. She goes, hey, the lady countered again. She came down some more. I said, tell her 118. Okay.
Just the extra 3?
Go from 115, 118. Hey, let's go. See, I'm just trying to see where she's at, where she want to play. Because what she didn't know is what I found out is the house went on the market, came off the market, and went back on the market again and have been sitting for a year. And you ready for this? I'm the only one that's a fool looking to buy a house in the wintertime when it's actually in a buyer's market, not in a seller's market. So I have all the leverage. I'm the only one crazy enough in the dead of winter looking for a house, right? There was nobody to contend with. There's no one to contend with my offers. So 115, 118. She came a little bit more. I said, Denise, she wants to play. I said, okay. Tell her 125. She pays closing costs. We got a deal. She said 126 closing costs. I said, let's give it to her. Let's give her the small win. Let's go. Lady sat across the table from me. She said, I heard her say to her realtor, I'll never do this again. Never do this again. Right? This is what I do. I do sales. Like, I close shit. This is what I do. Fast forward 6 years later, in a seller's market, I turn around and sell said house for $201,000.
Wow.
Bought it for 125.
We need to hang out more.
Oh, listen, bought it for 125. Oh, about 109, 110 left. Sold for 201. You never buy, you never buy or sell. You never do anything when you're desperate. I get all the leverage, man.
Where did you learn that? And I'm only asking this because there are a lot of people nowadays, and you can see it pretty much everywhere, doing things out of desperation. Who taught you that? Where'd you get that from?
Man. Probably I would say my mom is one, and I think it's the gift God gave me. Seriously. So my wife, the greatest compliment my wife gave me was, or she's given me a lot of great compliments, but the one that stands out the most is she says, I have a gift to foresee trends, which I do. And then, I pay attention. Like even when I was running Verizon stores, man, and Micah he can attest to this. I would always give information to reps, even if it was GM or high level information. And the reason why is because knowledge is power. And if I get wind of a change that's going to happen, I'm going to rip the fucking Band-Aid off and we're going to implement it right now. So by the time it is issued, when it's out, we're already doing the things, which means everybody else that just got, the new agenda that says, hey, these are the way things are now going to operate. Now they're struggling trying to figure out how to get sales, how to change behaviors.
And y'all already moving.
We've already did it. So I'm a firm believer of driving the train and not running after the train. I'm the conductor. All you got to do is give me the code. That's the information. And then I'm going to feed the caboose and I'm going to put that bitch in drive and then we're going to go and then everybody else is going to have to catch up. It's no different than, seeing how malls were going to become obsolete. And, Micah had the vision and the foresight for the boutique. I had a different vision. I'm not going to share it because it's still something that may happen.
You dropping Easter eggs. That's what they call.
Yeah,
that's what you dropping Easter eggs.
So you ready for this? So with our apparel, which I'll make sure I get Micah to bring some. I was ill prepared today. As you see, I'm not even repping.
Links will be in the description, by the way.
Yes. That's what I do in our apparel. Now he's not a movie guy. I'm a movie, comic book, all of that dude, right? Like I do all of that. And so with our brand, we incorporate Easter eggs, which we're going to have a line that's going to be called Easter egg, where we're going to, somewhere on your garment, we're going to throw just the R logo, our little R logo symbol somewhere. And you may not find it. It may be a year or two from the time you find it. It might be when you flipped it inside out and you didn't realize as you went to wash it. Like, I don't wash this thing a million times and I'm just now noticing this detail on this garment. That's how crazy I am when it comes to, unique shit. So, but I think it's just seeing the trends before they happen, man. Mike and I was sitting down yesterday. I don't want to give too much because I know people listening, man. They take your shit, but we were sitting down yesterday. We was at his house, and we're going over, new garment, new items. We're already focused on what the fall lineup is going to be, right? Fall and winter. And so I said, yo, we need to do this. And he says to me, he goes, yeah, but we need to see, we probably need to go and see if anybody else is doing this. I said, no, fuck that. Nah. And then we watched the Jay-Z, when he did the tour where he sold out the Barclays. And he was the first show, and he did 8 shows at the Barclay, and he walked you through the building of the Barclay and all this stuff, right? And Jay-Z had something on that I had said. Now, remind you, this was years ago. But if you know anything about fashion, it comes back around, or it never really leaves. And I still rock. Notice I ain't giving you too much. I still rock what I said we should do. And then he goes, yo, Hove just had that on. Did you see that? I said, yeah. And then he goes, oh, shit. And I go, yeah, that's why we don't have to see where the market is, if it's going to come back. No, fuck that. We do the thing. We do it. We do it. We make the shit hot, and we're the ones that put it out. And because here's the thing about fashion. People who don't have fashion sense, people that do have fashion sense, sometimes need to be led. And so I feel and Micah, he'll tell you this, we just had this conversation literally yesterday. I said, I dance to the beat of my own drum. Like, I might do some shit that's kind of risky though. And my wife be like, I don't know. And I'd be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. And then I do it, and then somebody be like, yo, that shit, wow. You know what's crazy? Best compliment is, yo, that shit fucking dope. I don't know if I can do it, That shit looked dope as fuck on you. And I go, cool. You can do it, but thank you, because I'm going to do this shit. I'm doing it, right? But also know that I'm not going to see anybody. I told my son, bro, I told him, I took him shopping. And I said to him, I said, yo, this what we doing? We coming out the house with sweats, your hair ain't cut. What we doing? I said, you never know who you gonna run into. You're a representation of me and your mom. I said, so even when I'm going to the grocery store, I look like something. Even though, like, this is what I've had on today, I'm kind of, I still, dude, I got on, some H&M shorts, a little Zeppelin shirt, I'm still chilling, but got some fresh J's on. It's whatever,
but it
though.
fits.
Yeah, and it fits the mood for right now, right?
But we chilling.
Yeah. But we go to the mall and we're in Beechwood in Cleveland. And I say to him, I said, yo, I got on plaid pants right now. Tell my son that. I said, ain't a lot of motherfuckers. I told him, ain't a lot of motherfuckers can pull off plaid pants. I said, come on, man. Your pops can though. You know what I mean? So.
Like I said, man, you've always had that fashion thing about you. I've always admired that about you because I'm not there yet. I'm still street, but my fragrance collection is crazy and my sneaker collection is off the hook.
Yeah, the perils of we know you smell good is the whole point. You gonna let us know that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna always let you know I smell amazing. I'm gonna always let you know that. But you've always had that, and I've always admired that about you because no matter where you were going, no matter what we were, even Friday nights to come get your haircut, you still look presentable. Like, okay, I'm about to get this haircut, but I might need to run to the store. And who might I run into? Or I might get a phone call saying I got to go up to the store and fix something.
Well, I might have a move right after. So I'm going to get my haircut. My wife may say, hey, let's shake and bake and go over here. Meet me here. I'm already ready.
I've always admired that about you.
That's what RevelHeir is, man. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. RevelHeir means inherit the enjoyment of life. That's what the meaning is. RevelHeir, we took two words, made it one. And shout out to the coldest graphic designer that we have, my dude Keys, which I think you may know Ramon Keys.
I know Keys. Keys, get in touch with me because I want you to come on the show too.
But he's the one that created the RevelHeir logo. And
matter of fact, I'm gonna tag him in this video.
Yeah,
because we have to talk. Write that shit.
What's wild is like that RevelHeir logo is like Wu-Tang. Like it literally, he created. Somebody asked Micah, like, hey, what font is that you guys use? And Micah reached out to Keys, was like, yo, what font did you use? And then he told me what he asked. And I said, bro, that ain't no font. He created that. And Keys was like, yo, I created that. And I said, yo, think about that. He created out of an image what we wanted, what was birthed, known as RevelHeir, man. Like the name, the image we had, and he put it on paper, man. It was like, oh my God, this is it. And then the R logo, that was just me working. Keys had did this trumpet that the R kind of, and it, so like the R made the trumpet and the bit, and then he had the word air, H-E-I-R, blowing out of it. Because I told him, I said, hey, that's what I want, right? Micah didn't, he hated that. He hated it. And I said to him, I said, well, I want it to be something that's like an enigma. It is what it is, but it ain't what it ain't, right? It's whatever you think it is, right? It's the Riddler, it's enigma, right? It's so when you see the R, what's crazy is that Micah goes, he's talking, he's like, man, I keep staring at it. He goes, I went to sleep, and you're right, I keep staring at it, but it's something. And I said, all right, I got something. Because he was like, I could see the R in it. So all right, we're gonna take the bit out, take the air out, and you just have the R piece. It almost like a rook. And he goes, oh my God, that's it, I love it. And as he's telling me this, I got my note, and I got my stylus pen out. I'm circling. I'm like, and I'm sending it right to Keys, and Keys is shooting it right back. And I shoot it to Micah, and Micah was like, "That's it." So now, what that is, the R logo is our polo symbol. So when you see the polo man, the little horse, when you see that, that's polo. It's no different than when you see the swoosh, that's Nike. When you see the R logo, that's RevelHeir. Everything is intentional. Everything I do, everything we do, it's in your face. It's intentional. It's a reason behind it.
Wow. You don't really hear about someone having a plan like that and it fully be laid out. That's dope. Let's shift gears for a minute
Talk to me.
because you've mentioned your wife about 10 times since we've been on this show. So I always ask, the reason I started this was because I want to be a husband. And within the covenant of that marriage, I want to be a father. You're both. What's it like being a husband? What does the husband role, what is that? Like, what is it like facilitating the husband role?
Right.
But before you get into that,
Yeah.
before you get into that,
Word.
what about your wife made you look at her and say, hey, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you? Like, what tangible thing or intangible feeling did she give you for you to make that move?
That was wild, crazy. So she gonna kill me for saying this. First, it was the sex. That shit was bananas. That's what. So listen. Here's some wild shit. You know, as she would say, I'm a wild boy. Listen, you asked for this interview, so it's your fault. But in all seriousness, serious. She was a customer, bro, out the door. So we came back full circle. And at the time, we were just kind of hanging out, doing what we do. And when I left and went back to Cleveland, I didn't think she was feeling me like that. I didn't know it was like on that level of like, oh my God, this could be the one dude, right? And I was always digging her. But I moved back to Cleveland, man, and then we got back in touch about 2009 or into 2009. And you know, it was just so here's what's crazy. So she came to visit at the in the end of 2009, she came to Cleveland to visit. And she was staying at the DoubleTree. And I go downtown and I'm standing outside of her door and I'm nervous. I haven't seen her since 2003 or 04. And now you're talking 09, right? So I'm like, look, man, I don't look the same. Maybe she don't look the same. Maybe I don't know, right? But we had been talking and sent pictures and stuff, whatever. So we kind of had an idea of what we look like. But it was crazy because I'm standing on the other side of the door, and I didn't even knock. I'm just standing on the other side of the door. Well, it's like an R&B song video. She's standing on the other side of the door. She sees me through the peephole, and she's nervous, and she's on the other side of the door. And so we're both nervous. So finally, I gained the confidence to knock on the door. I knocked on the door, and she let me in.
This does sound straight out of a romantic comedy.
No, this is shit. And she let me in, and you know, she went to sleep. I watched Tropic Thunder. I laughed. You know, she woke up. She went back to sleep. I got to give you the details, and I was watching football. So, and then the rest was history. Like it was like we had never missed a beat, man. At the time, man, I had got bought out by Quicken Loans, so I hadn't worked in like a year. And so she was supposed to move to Cleveland. And I said, yo, I really ain't got shit popping right now. Just living off my severance of, you know, the buyout that they gave me or whatever. And that was running thin. And I moved to Toledo. Came back after leaving. I came back to Toledo. And Verizon hired me on, and the skies was the limit. And we've been together ever since, man. But I think it's, you know what's wild, man? It was her caring nature, bro. Like, she saw about me, which she still does. So, like, we just celebrated our 9-year anniversary this past Wednesday. And, you know, but we've been together for 12. So we've been together for 12, married for 9. And, yeah, she just, you know, she's thoughtful, she's caring, she sees about me. And that's, you know, not just my physical, but my mental. You know what I mean? So she makes sure that the bean that's on my neck is still rocking tight and able to make it perform, you know, magic with our household as a collective unit. And it's crazy because she's the only woman I've ever given all of my money to, and I don't look for it. Like, meaning like I don't like to balance books, pay bills, do none of that shit, right? So, as the one-time breadwinner, because now she getting to the bag. It was, you know, I do what I do, and I just know that, you know, the mortgage was paid, the cars were paid, the trips were available when we needed to go. If I needed something, I had it. You know, I got my little allowance, you know, every week. You know, I'm a $300 allowance a week. You know what I mean? If I blew through that, it's a wrap.
She put you on a budget.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Oh, God. She's an man. Even though she's HR, she's an accounting by nature. So, yeah, I mean, that's so she has a whole system on how she does shit, which, you know, I tell her I need to learn that. But I only need to learn it now because when my pops passed, I was like, oh shit, if I was to go before my wife, or if my wife went before me, I would be fucked, because I don't know how she does what she does. But she was like, nah, I got it all written out. You'll be cool. So, not to even get morbid like that, I hate to think like that, but it's part of life.
But
you know
I mean,
what
you have to, being that you're
no.
married.
Oh,
Like,
for
that's
sure.
a conversation that
Yeah.
it sucks to have,
Yeah.
but you gotta have it.
A lot of people don't have it though. But that's the thing about marriage too, man. You know, you hear the cliche of conversation. Communication is key. Communication is the foundation. It is. But communication and conversation is the thing, right? We communicate all day. You know, hey, you let Diesel out? Where's our dog? Hey, you know, I'm be home in a minute. You know, that's communication. I think communication is such the cliche answer to people's longevity in marriage or whatever. But it's conversation. It's different. It's a difference between communication and conversation. You know, conversation is my wife and I laying in bed discussing what's next for us, to prepare dinner like I did before I came here, and for her to communicate with me her next move in a career, and if she should do it, why she shouldn't, what does it look like if she does, how much is the right number, you see what I'm saying? So it's almost like now she's becoming or morphing into a version of who I am, and I'll become a version of who she is, right? And we say that there's role reversal, right? Now I have all this extra time, well, not really extra, but now I have that entrepreneurship.
You're not really like punching the clock.
So correct, right? So now I'm even, you know, we both can cook our ass off, and I'm a beast in the kitchen. And so now it's like, all right, you know, she worked all day, now I'm cooking, right? So you talk about the husband duties and the roles. That's why I laughed and I chuckled, because the blue and pink roles that is or should or once was, they change over time, right? It's like Steve Kerr pulling Draymond Green out in the fourth quarter and sitting him down until 4 minutes left in the game, because he was having a shitty, you know, offensive game, and he was a liability. Well, that was a decision that was a on-the-spot decision that Steve Kerr had to make. It's no different in a relationship, right? If now that course correction, or that, you know, that decision is, all right, hey, honey, you by default, you home at a certain time before I get home, so you got the cooking duties, which I totally don't care. I'm cool with that, right? And I've always been a neat freak, so I'm always, you know, bouncing around the house, folding clothes, vacuuming and shit like that, right? So my wife knows she got to catch, because that's what I do, right? But we tag team it. But it's interesting that your roles are going to change throughout. Like I just told her, I was sitting at Mike as I was zoned out, and I said, yo, I said 225, and she knew what I meant. But I zoned out, and bro was like, you good? I said, bro, I'm sitting here vibing. So you got jazz playing, I'm vibing, we having some tequila, we're talking business. But at that moment, I zoned out, and it was like God spoke. He said 225. I told her, she called me. I was like, hey, no, I called her. I was like, hey, I'm just letting you know I'm still here. I know you get ready to go to bed. I'm checking in. Have a good night. She said, no, I'm gonna be up. Okay, cool. And I was like, yo, I said, zoned out for a minute, man. I said 225. And she said, okay. So how you go get it? I said, I know what I gotta do. With 225. I gotta be making $225,000 a year within the next year, 2 years. I say next year. And within a year, maybe the two, I need to be at $250,000. Like, that's what I need to do. And so today she reiterated, like, how you gonna do it? What's it gonna look like? How much is that a day? How much is that a week? Let's break this thing down. What did we gotta, right? And that's just putting yourself in position. That's you know, some real estate, that's some stocks, that's whatever it's gonna be, man. That's what I gotta do.
It's like y'all play to y'all strengths. because she was asking you how you planned on doing this, and you were letting her, this is how it is, and then you were just speaking about how she handles the money like that.
Yeah.
And then you were just talking about how y'all lay in bed, and she was talking about a promotion and how you would move in that. And it's like, you're strong in certain areas, she's strong in certain areas, and they don't overlap or feel like one is losing because another is stronger in one area. You understand what I'm saying?
So crazy.
It's like there's no ego involved.
We don't bump heads, and there's no ego. We do this a lot. Oh, that's been our life, bro. Like, bro, you understand something was so crazy. When I got to Toledo, bro, I showed up with a bag, like a shell of myself. I wasn't the same dude she met in 01, 02, right? You know, I those years came with some baggage. You know what I'm saying? A garbage 6-month marriage that I shouldn't have been in, right? And 2 beautiful kids, right? At the time, who like 2 and 9 months, right? So it's like, oh God, you talking to a guy that I was late in the game having kids, right? I mean, you super late, you ain't got nothing at all. But I'm just saying, you getting there. I thought I was late. You super late. Like, what we waiting on? No, I know we're waiting on. We'll talk about
I'm waiting on a wife.
I'm just giving you shit.
I am not going to be. I refuse.
No, trust me. You don't want them problems.
I refuse to be a baby daddy, bro. I refuse.
You don't want them problems. Nah, I did marry my BM for at least 6 months, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway.
Part 2 coming soon.
Yeah, we ain't got enough tape for that. Man, but what we've always done, bro, is this, right? We've always done this with one another, man. So, here's the dopest thing I can tell you about marriage, or the best advice I can give. And I've people that truly will watch this, that know me, that's had these conversations with me. I always say, and I think I just said this to my wife on Mother's Day, or anniversary. It was one of the two, but I always say it's our job to give you the show, but we'll never give you the rehearsal. We'll never let you guys see the rehearsal. You'll never peek behind the Horsley curtain to see the rehearsal. And what I mean is, and I'll elaborate on that. If my wife and I are beefing, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. You know why? Because neither one of us are fake. And the people that we surround ourselves with, we love, and they know us so well that they'll know something's up.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey, what's happening? What's really going on?
Marcel ain't fucking with his wife right now. He ain't fucking with Ronnie. Ronnie ain't fucking with Marcel. What's going on, right? Excuse me. My bad. It's the drink that came up. Sorry, guys. A little burp. But anyway, it's like drink champs. I'm burping on the mic. But anyway, in a good way. But yeah, we won't. Nah. See, this is what happens. This is what you do, man. You get people comfortable. I feel like I'm at home. Now I'm just talking to you,
brother. You are.
Now I'm drinking and burping on the mic. But yeah, man. It's yeah. We not going nowhere. We gonna have that conversation, and we go talk, and we go figure out, why our communication is off or what's going on. But nah, when you see the Horsleys, when you see us, you know what you get is the real deal. It's authentic. It's literally, mom's cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like, no holds barred. Like, we ain't giving you guys no fakeness. That's why when we in public, we don't see nobody else. We laugh, we joke, we having a ball. And it feel like we the only two in the room. Seriously. Right? And I say the word show because we know we're being watched. But what we'll never give you, though, is the rehearsal. We ain't gonna show you the tears, the arguments, the yelling, the frustration, the when I can't communicate effectively, and now I'm mad at myself because I can't figure out how to get out what I really want to say, and I'm having a temper tantrum, right? You know what I'm saying?
Temper tantrum.
Men do. So, But we work through that. We talk that shit out, man, and we figure it out, and then we become better afterwards. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where that happens. And so that's what I think being a husband is, man. It's been, you know what's dope about it, being a husband? It's being the leader and the head of the household, but also being confident enough to know that you're not always going to be the strongest.
I need you to break that down. No, because I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that's a part of the game that people don't understand. Like, you can still be the lead, but even as the lead, she can be strong in areas that you're not, and you still gonna have to defer to her.
You know what made me a cold ass GM in Verizon? Was delegating shit. I always say the smartest person in the room isn't the person with all the answers. It's the person that knows where to go get the answers. If I'm the smartest person in the room, we fucked up. And I think I'm a bright individual.
There's the saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Oh, my wife is a G. She's smart, she's talented. You know what I mean? Like, oh, she cold with it. And I trust her, she trusts me. But I also know that as bright and as talented as I may be, you know, I know she's the same. But I also know I know what my flaws are. I know that I have flaws. I'm not perfect by far. I don't claim to be. Some may paint me in like, I ain't perfect at all. I got some shit. You know what I'm saying? But we all do. But it's the dopest thing is that I don't have to ever deal with my bullshit by myself. That's what helps. Hancock. Dopest movie ever. Love story. People think it's a superhero movie, but it's not.
It's not.
Nah. Oh. It's a sappy love story for real. Because like Adam and Eve, God made us, right? He knew, okay, here's Adam. Can't let this dude by himself, right? He's got to have a partner. So here's Eve, right? Hancock. Here's Hancock. Charlize Theron's character. His wife, forget her name in the movie. Here's the oxymoron in this, though. When they're together, they're weak. When they're separate, they're strong. My wife and I say all the time, the reason why we can stay together is because we don't need each other. Because as individuals, we already dope as fuck. I can be alone and be okay. And she equally can be alone and be okay. So the fact that we want to be together is what keeps us together. There's nothing that bonds us to say, hey, I gotta be this. Like, I'm gonna take years of abuse and blah, 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 the worst relationship because I need to be with someone. No, she thinks exactly the way I think. Nah, we will part ways. Amicably. I can't ever say that word. Kevin Hart said it on 40-Year-Old Virgin. I can never say it, but yeah, no, like, she don't believe in the bullshit. I don't believe in it either. We will. Right? So that's the oxymoron. In Hancock, when they were together, this is why it's a love story, they were weak. Anytime anything bad happened to Hancock, it was because he was happy and comfortable and relaxed with his wife, because that's what your helpmate and your spouse should do for you. Make you feel relaxed and comfortable to the point where you can be able to walk through an alley at night, holding hands and being to each other, and totally oblivious and blind that there's danger nearby. Because all you have is each other, and you're like, we're just in our own world. So when Hancock gets hit over the head with the pipe, who typically, if he's by himself, that pipe bends on his head, right? Nah, he now is unconscious, loses his memory, and totally forgets about his wife. And then she, in order to survive, to save him, she had to go away. And then he regained his powers, and then boom, right? Hence the movie. But that's why they had to stay separated, because...
But it was still physics.
Because
they still were attracted to each other.
Because in our life, for real, in the real world, the mission is to find someone to grow old and die off with. Their species, they were the last two of their species, because everyone else died off because they got old and gray. That's what happened. They aged out and they died because they became regular people. So yeah, we can be superheroes as individuals, but your ultimate greatest gift is to have that someone that you can get to grow old with and conversate. And I'm not talking like, you know, your parents or grandparents and great-great-grandparents who'd be like, you know, oh man, I was with John for, you know, 66 years and it was rough, but we hung in there, we stuck it out. No, fuck you, granny. I'm not staying in some bullshit. That's some bullshit. No, I'm sorry. I'm not doing that, right? Because it's like, yo, that's some really sick, tormented shit, right? Think about that. To stay in a relationship that is terrible for you.
But see, some of us, a lot of us weren't raised to, one, defend ourselves, and two, a lot of us weren't raised to know that we were worthy of having the standard to leave. I'm gonna keep it real with you. A lot of these dudes out here are afraid to take a L. They really are. They think what they have is what they think that's it, and it's not. You understand what I'm saying? But it takes a minute to get to that. But from the way that you describe your dynamic with your wife, you were just like, okay, you here, I'm here, but we here. Yeah. But I know that if push came to shove, we could be here and be okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But it's interesting because we're and I'm going to tell you how all this intertwines and comes back together. This is the craziest shit ever, man. Like, I love having these conversations because we teach our kids. I tell my daughter, and I used to tell the people that work for me, what you do at home ultimately is a reflection of what you'll do at work, especially from a leadership standpoint. So when you ask me about risk and you ask me about foresight in the business early on in the conversation, when we first sat down, it's no different than my wife and my relationship, right? Staying with my wife is a risk. Leaving my wife is a risk. But is it a risk that you're willing to take for the greater good of both? Right? The reason why so many dudes out here stuck in bullshit jobs, bullshit relationships, is because they're afraid to take a risk. You can't bet on yourself. Who can you bet on? Think about that. Because here's the crazy thing. Time not gonna wait for none of us. It's not gonna wait. And if you sit here, like, I kick myself every day because I should have had my damn real estate license. I started studying in 2021. Here it is a year later, I still ain't finished the shit. Took the state test, or took the national twice. Passed the state first try. Got to pass the national. I haven't studied. I'm kicking myself in the butt, man. Like, come on, Sully, get your head in the game, right? Because that's ultimately what's going to get me to the next level of what it is that I need to do, right? But I'm not complacent. I've never been complacent, man. Complacency is what's going to kill people. It's what kills people. It's what kills businesses. If Blockbuster, because you do know Blockbuster could have been Redbox or Netflix, right? It could have been that, right?
They were ahead of the game with the sending the DVDs to homes and stuff like that.
They didn't want to make the change. So then guess what happened? Redbox showed up. And Redbox showed people, hey, all you need to do is put a credit card on file, go to this machine, choose your movie. It's going to give it to you. You go home, you watch it, and you put it back. And if you don't put it back, we're going to charge you. So it's just like you bought it anyway. Blockbuster couldn't get out of their own way. Therefore, Blockbuster failed. Because they were saying, oh, you know, look at me. So they're complacent. Yeah, nah, we don't need to change. We're good. Nah, you got to change. If you don't evolve, you will become extinct. It's a fact. You want to talk about marriage. People in shitty marriages and shitty relationship because they also don't pay attention to their spouse. I'm not the same dude I was last week. My wife damn sure ain't the same woman she was last week, let alone last night. So if you're not paying attention to your helpmate and your spouse and what's going on and dating, then yeah, you're going to be stuck in a complacent bullshit ass relationship. And if you don't do the work and put the work in, nothing's going to evolve from it. It's like life, bro. It's an organism that has to grow. That's everything. That's your career. Your career, you have to look at it as an organism. Your relationships with friends and family, you have to look at it as an organism. It needs substance, it needs sun, it needs to be able to grow, it needs to be able to mature, it needs to be able to develop, it needs to be able to become a full species in itself. If I don't take a chance to say, yo, I got to do this, I'm 14, 15, 16 years in the game. Verizon still doing the same thing. When there's something crazy, Kobe Bryant also helped me make my decision on leaving. Kobe died, I was in Vegas. Craziest shit ever. COVID hadn't even happened yet. It wasn't even a thing. Me and Micah, we're in Vegas. Kobe dies on a Sunday, the 26th. Won't forget it. The world stopped. I never seen Vegas stop. You start to see all these things about who Kobe was and dad girl. And I got 2 girls. Dad girl, and I have a son too. Mace, love you. It's my dude. You know, he's the only boy. He's like, dude, we outnumbered, Dad. I go, yeah, I know. But Kobe, here's what's so crazy. His second act in life was, in my opinion, was greater than his first act in life. And you start to hear these stories about Kobe, the basketball player, was dope. But Kobe, the dad, Kobe, the mogul, Kobe, the Oscar winner, the Golden Globe nominee. Like, that's the Kobe that I go, wow. So when Kobe died, I got to thinking, I'm like, yo, my second act of life. Keep in mind, I wrote my resignation letter in November 2019. I gave my resignation letter in February of 2020 before COVID. And my last day was February 28th of 2020 as a full-time employee of Verizon. Right? Second act in life. That was it, man. Like, you can get your inspiration from anywhere, but if you don't do shit with the organisms that you have to create the actual species, the being, man, you gonna be stuck in the same position. You go look up, you go, where did time go? And everybody got this list. Women have lists, men have lists. You know, I need this. I'm looking for this kind of person. Bro, like, my wife is chocolate, beautiful, short, you know, charismatic, but wasn't always that way. Always, she was about business, this, that. Like, I've made her a goofball, right? Because I'm a goofball. And we pulled out of each other. But complete opposite of what I've dated, right? I just love women. Like, that's my wife. She goes, you don't have a type. You make me nervous. I said, you know I ain't going nowhere. Shut your ass up. This is just what she do. She be playing, but it's yeah, like, you know, I was tall. I had Jamaican chicks, Puerto Rican chicks. I ain't my wife looking, so I ain't gonna go too in detail, but it wasn't a thing. It was like, yo, I love beautiful women, whatever, right? But if I would have had a list to say, this is all I'm dating, I wouldn't be married to my wife, and my wife is dope. She's beautiful as fuck. But she's opposite of what I've always dated. She's opposite of what my kid's mom looked like. You know what I'm saying? So, but I say that to say, like, you know, you got to step away from what makes you comfortable. And the only way to succeed is to make yourself uncomfortable. And that's it. That's what I did. And everything I do, I make myself uncomfortable.
Wow. All right. I got to bring you back.
I'm here.
Because you brought up your 2 girls and you brought up your son, and I want to talk fatherhood, but I'm glad that you talked husband, because that's, like I said, that's one of the primary reasons why I started this channel.
Okay.
I always end this by asking my guests to give a random top 5. So, top 5 designers you rock outside of your own.
Wow. That's going to be crazy, because I'll give you this. This is what I'm going to give you. Because I don't really, here's what's wild. As a designer, as a business owner, as a fashion dude or whatever it is, it's from all over. I can be in some shit that you may think is like high price.
So it's really about how it looked together?
Oh, for sure.
As opposed to the name on it?
Oh, for sure. 100%. I'll throw on some Zara or H&M all day. Seriously. If I'm not wearing my own stuff, right? I'll tell you who my spirit animal is, though. Who I'm not gonna say I strive to be, but I've told Micah this. Like Jerry Lorenzo, who does Essential and Fear of God, he's like my mentor. He doesn't even know it. You know what I mean? So that's who I would like to meet, Jerry Lorenzo, and chop it with him. And he kind of ran with that circle. He ran in the circle with Virgil. You know, God rest Virgil Abloh soul, man. R.I.P. Virgil. Right? Virgil was a dope inspiration for. I mean, that was Micah. That's Micah's dude. Like, if Jerry Lorenzo was mine, I would say Virgil Abloh is probably Micah's. Right? Amongst some others, I know like Kith is dope. Man, so many dope brands that's out, man. Obviously, Off-White was dope and still is. But nah, I mean, I put stuff together, bro. I'll just have on some stuff, man, and you know, you be like, damn, you pulled that from where? Where'd you get that from? Wow. Oh, yeah. No, it don't take all that. It don't take, you know, everybody, you know, go. Yes, I'm not saying because you know my hoodies come in at $85. I'm not telling you not to spend $85 for a hoodie, but you know, you ain't gotta buy an $85 hoodie or a $100 hoodie to still look dope. But what we have for that $100 and that $85, it's the quality. It's not just, and that's the difference between what we have on some other stuff that's out there is, you know, we run our shit through a 4-wash dry and a 4-cycle wash and a 4-cycle dry to make sure that it holds up. But our quality is phenomenal. We ain't gonna cheat. We don't cheat the people.
Plug your stuff.
RevelHeir, RevelHeir.com. We're in the transition phase right now, moving to e-commerce, which is big time. So bear with us. If you go to the site, it'll say under construction, but we're coming. Social media, RevelHeir. Twitter, RevelHeir. Facebook, RevelHeir. RevelHeir, all one word.
Again, links will be in the description.
Right. But yeah, man, that's it.
Marcel, it has been a pleasure sitting across the table from you.
Word. Oh, we finished the drinks. So
Toast the water.
Toast the water.
You got that shit right.
Yeah.
And this has been your episode of Across the Table, where the drinks are cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations. Oh, you got something else?
Oh, and because he's leaving you with his, and this used to be my favorite Jay-Z rendition for my morning meetles.
Meatles. See?
That's this. That's this. Fuck it up all. Meetles. Meetings. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. So thank you.
And we appreciate that.
That's right.
Again, this is your episode of Across the Table. Drinks are cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations are fire with my man Marcel, my man 50 grand, y'all. This is my man 50 grand. Until next time, in a minute.